like that. Hang on. Somewhere there's got to be transcription on here.
Yeah, I think I usually just click
Stop
the
transcription.
X. Yeah.
Okay. Am I recording right now? Yeah,
Yeah.
recording. You can just edit this out. All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey, Bryson.
Hey, Jerry.
Welcome to week one. I feel like we've been waiting for this for months now, especially since my baseball team has kind of been out of it, and so is my fantasy football or baseball team. Now it's fantasy football, and this is where it gets really fun. We already had one game, and then the full slate of games is on Sunday. Such an exciting time. OU football got a good matchup with SMU. I mean, you can't beat fall, right? Right, Brayton. I mean, this is
Brighton.
no, I meant like because Brayton loves fall so
Oh,
much.
yes, he does love it.
You can't beat it. But yeah, this is an exciting week one. I mean, you get a full slate or clean slate. Get to see what your team's made of that you just drafted. Not many moves have been made. This is a fun week.
It is. It's that time of year. We're finally back, and it's exciting for the league. We've got two new members, well, one returning and one brand new, and Gary. And excited to get a game under his belt and welcome Murph back to the league. So it should be an exciting, fun-filled weekend. So I mean, right from the start, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and let's get Gary into the league here. I got to remove you down here. I don't know if you can see that. But we've got Gary versus Shmee right now. I don't know, Jerry, if you want to start the walkthrough, and then I can kind of give my opinion too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll try not to talk about my team at all because Gary made a comment on that. So looking at Gary's team, I really liked his team. I think he's got two of the best running backs in the league. I think Amari Cooper quietly had a pretty good season last year, and now he'll have a full season with Watson. T. Higgins and Chase are two of the best. That's one of the best wide receiver duos. So it's kind of a 1A with Chase, 1B with Higgins. I don't think he's far behind. And then Lawrence, I think, was sneaky good toward the end of the season last year. Um, he's going against Indy. You probably have some insight on how Indy's defense is going to be. We know their offense is probably going to struggle, but Lawrence, Higgins, Cooper, Henry, Jacobs is a pretty stacked lineup.
Yep.
Everyone always has to do it every year because of the hype. Someone has to draft Pitts. I don't know how he's going to do with Ritter. I don't really think Ritter's that good of a passer, but maybe he'll develop into one. Can't remember when Ritter was taken. He wasn't a first round
No, I
QB,
don't
so
recall. Yeah.
I I don't think he was that great at Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati had like Sauce Gardner and other playmakers that made Cincinnati really good when they made the playoff. They made the playoff, right? I think they did.
Yeah, they
Anyway,
did.
yeah, so I think there's other. I don't know how good Ritter is, but that's not the focal point of Gary's team. I think that's kind of playing with house money with those first five that he's got there, and then Gibson against Arizona. That could be a blowout, and then Gibson's going to get a bunch of carries. He does share the backfield with Robinson. I haven't really looked at his status, but I think Gary's got a great squad going into week one. Um, we get a little bit of a cheat code with Shmee because he had two people go yesterday. One guy got 4 points over his projected. Gibbs didn't really see the field, which was probably pretty disappointing to a lot of Gibbs owners. Pollard is a stud running back. Ayuk against Pittsburgh's defense. I mean, that's with now that Pittsburgh has TJ Watt back, who knows what kind of pressure Brock Purdy is going to be under. Lamar has a fantastic matchup because Houston has given up
Yep.
so much rushing yards in the past. Like I think they've been dead last for the last couple of years. So that's a really juicy matchup. And then Dotson is a pretty underrated wide receiver. I think he's kind of up there with Scary Terry now. Um, I'm gonna lean Gary just because I don't think Shmee got enough from his guys last night to really, build up a good cushion. I think he's going to take a lot for Shmee to knock off Gary in this first week, but he does have a really juicy matchup with Lamar.
Yeah.
I just think overall, I think Gary's team's a little better going into week one.
Yeah, Jerry, I have very similar thoughts. I like Gary's team overall just better. I think he's got the stronger lineup. I've actually got this really close, but as Yahoo does as well. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like if Lamar blows up, I think Shmee wins, and it could be pretty
Hmm.
easily if he blows up. But I think points on the board is always great, and he didn't really, I think, what, 1 point under projected out of the two players, but I think
Yeah.
he needed to have a really strong week. Maybe if he put up 25, I'd be feeling a lot more confident. But I've got Gary slightly winning this one.
It'll be fun for Shmee too. He'll know what he needs to beat Gary because Gary will be done after the afternoon games, and Shmee will have Pollard
Jeez,
in
you're
that
right.
Sunday. Oh, Pollard and Gano. So
Yeah, Gary's got the full noon slate except for Josh Jacobs.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so
Um,
that'll be interesting. And neither of these teams for all the week one chaos, nobody has injury really concerns. There was no like injury having to pull anybody out. I don't think anybody
yeah,
Gary would have started. So two clean teams. It should be a close one.
yeah. I have. Dang it! I needed to get a pen, but just to write this down, just for receipts.
Yep. Me and you both had Gary.
We both have Gary. All right. Welcome to the league, Gary. You should definitely win. We're never wrong.
Let me flip to, since we have stats on these two, CT and CB really quick, and I'll do
Awesome.
the historical. So if we look at CT versus CB, CB actually holds the winning record 7-5 versus the GOAT CT. So
Wow.
that's really impressive. So these
Wow.
are all written from CT's point of view. So he does have a 2-game winning streak against CB with 150, 130 points in those last 2 years. So CB will be trying to get back on the winning side against CT, but that's a really impressive record against the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. Anyone with the record against winning record against CT is doing okay.
Totally.
Um, I can't wait to find out what mine is against CT. I'm probably like 3-8. Actually, I beat him twice last year. I had to look it up. He was saying he was talking crap on my team, and I looked it up. I beat him twice last year.
I can just pull that really quickly. He's
Not
11-8 versus you, so
okay. Not as far off as I thought.
no, and you've won two in a row against him, so there you go.
We'll get into this matchup with C Tizzle, who just made a bombshell trade. I don't know where that came from, but
Yep.
now he has Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in the league, um, against Tampa Bay at home. I feel like Cousins just targets him, and that should be a great matchup. CT's really going to be involved in that game. He's got Godwin and
Yep.
Jefferson. Um, he didn't get off to a great start, already under projections from Mahomes, and Mahomes had one of the higher projections of all the quarterbacks. Pacheco, I think, is still splitting time with CEH. They were kind of playing from behind, so um, not playing from behind, but Mahomes. I feel like just their game script, Mahomes was throwing it a ton. They weren't
Yeah.
really running it. Dobbins, like we've said with Lamar, I mean, Houston is one of the worst run defenses, so he should get some points there. I don't know how you feel about Cook. I've heard everything from it's the system, he's not going to do much, to this guy has amazing upside. So to have him in his flex, I think CT's floor ceiling is a little higher than CB's, but he could
Yep.
also be a dud against that New York Jets front. That's going to be a hell of a game. Um, Going into CB, I don't really trust Watson. I feel like he kind of maybe knocked the rust off at the end of last season, but uh, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get 20. I'm not that high on Watson, but then he's got Adams and Lockett, um, Eckler and Harris. I'm not that high on Harris, especially against Nick Bosa in that front. Not that Nick Bosa is really a big run stopper, but still, that line is very scary. And for Harris to be ineffective and go against that is not great. Um, he just picked up Ferguson. I guess he's the starting tight end. I don't know if Dak's really going to find him because Dak has Cooks now and Gallup and CD. So I think Schultz was a big player there. I don't really know much about Ferguson. And then Drake London, like we said, with Pitts. I don't know how Ritter's going to be. I feel like who's that guy? Like J.C. Horn is their
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
That will probably lock him down. So I feel like that's a pretty tough matchup. Um, Even though CT didn't get all the points and Mahomes didn't go off, I'll still probably pick his team just with Jefferson. as a stud wide receiver, and then Dobbins with a really juicy matchup against Houston. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I really, part of me really wants to go the upset and go with CB here, and I think it could be close. But like you said, when I try to find the upside, I feel like it's more CT's team needs to crumble to
Yeah.
get there. Like again, I'm like, yeah, Mahomes and Pacheco. If you're CB, you're like, man, this is about as best as I could have hoped for with him only
Hmm.
walking out of there with 28 points. And I'm just still struggling to find on his roster how he gets there.
Hmm.
I'd be shocked if Watson can match that 23. If he
Hmm.
can, I think he has to overtake Mahomes just in the head to head for him to have a chance. I mean, yeah, he's got the running back advantage with Pacheco already putting up 5, but the flex, like I'm with you. Cook is a variable. It's against the Jets D. That could be tough. It looks like there's some weather, but Drake London, I just don't know about that offense. And I say that as a Pitts shareholder.
Yeah.
I just think they could be a mess. So I've got this one really close, maybe in the high 80s. Yahoo's got it there, maybe low 90s if somebody gets a big game from somebody. Justin Jefferson is really the only person I see potentially blowing up, and that goes to CT's side. So I'm going to go CT slightly.
Yeah, 12 kind of seems low for Justin Jefferson, but um,
Yeah, it does. I feel like they always struggle to account for the potential bonus points. And that's where,
yeah,
like, in a lot of these matchups, I'm just like, man, he's the most likely remaining to get to that 100 or 300. I don't see Watson having any chance at that. Um, Maybe Devontae Adams, but at Denver, who knows? So that's really kind of what I'm laying it on is if Jefferson gets 100 yards, which seems like kind of a given, that's
right.
going to be an extra, what is it, 4 points or 5 points? I can't
It's
remember.
4.
Quarterbacks are 5.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm going slightly CT here.
Nice. We're in agreement. That should be a fun matchup though, especially because yeah, Mahomes and Pacheco, like you said, didn't get the blow up games, so definitely made it a lot closer.
Man, this is interesting. The next one is Nelson Murph, and Murph might have some old history in here. Get to go back. Yeah, so Nelson's 1-0 all time against our returning league mate Murph. They played once in 2013, week 3, and Nels beat Murph 91-72. So this is what the date is about, digging back in the annals to find an old matchup.
Speaking of that, am I crazy that to think that Murph once had like a 12-point week, and I think he like set his lineup too. We'll have to. I
I
remember
can
Murph
look
having.
quickly. Hang on. So
I feel like
he had
someone
you
had a
think he
12
had
point.
a 12-point week. Let's
Yeah.
see. Sort options, high scoring week by ascending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Week 7 and Taylor only scored 54. Yes. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
2012, 12 points. And Kreger's wasn't far behind him at 19, but
Yeah,
welcome
dude,
back,
that's
Murph.
terrible. Welcome back,
Hope,
Murph. You just got shot on.
hopefully you can break 12 this week.
Oh god.
Uh, Breaking down Nels's team, I think talking with Nels, I don't think he wanted Tua, but now he has Tua and Waddle, which is a great stack. So if Tua and Waddle go for points, that's going to be a double dagger for Murph. And if Tua only finds Hill, which I hope he does for me. Sorry, Gary, I'm talking about my own team. Uh, then that could that that kind of limits Waddle, but he's got the stack there that could be dangerous. DK Metcalf against the Rams. I don't think the Rams are going to be very good this year. They lost Ramsey. He went to the Dolphins and then got hurt. I don't really know what their defense is going to be, but at home I expect Seattle to beat the Rams, and DK should play a pretty big part of that. CMC at Pitt. I feel like Pitt's offensive or defensive line is pretty good with and TJ Watt and that company, so that could be a pretty tough matchup. Akers, I don't know. I think you had him last year, right, at the start of the season, and he
Yep.
was god awful, but
And then came on. Yeah.
turned it on at the end of the season. I don't know how he's going to do against Seattle. I don't know much about their front, but I would give Murph definitely the running back edge there. Then I'd also probably give Murph the Hawkinson. He was really sneaky good. I think he like was second or third behind Kelsey and Andrews in receptions,
Yep.
and the Minnesota likes to throw the ball so much that having the Minnesota tight end and Hawkinson, being a monster is definitely good. I'd probably give the tight end edge to Murph. Mostert, now that he's the lead back, is a great pickup for Murph. Williams seems to be really boom or bust. I don't really trust Mike Williams that much. Uh, with all that being said, and not really getting into Murph's team too much, I even think Murph may have the QB advantage now that Burrow's healthy and CD
Yep.
could be a beast. So I'm not that high on Watson. I think the industry is. I've heard some people think he's going to be one of the best breakout receivers. It looks like he's questionable. Is he hurt?
Let's see if
Confirmed
there's
as
any.
non-participant Thursday. So that's not good. I would say if Watson plays, I'm going to go with Murph. If he doesn't, he can maybe put in Christian Kirk, and that's
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
that's not
got
bad.
Christian Kirk. I feel like that's a pretty decent swap. So yeah,
I'm going to go Murph with this one. The running back advantage, CMC maybe having a tough first road matchup, and then although the Chargers defense was pretty awful last year, Tua could go off, but I mean, just looking at these guys apples to apples, I kind of like Murph's side better.
yeah. Chargers defense, I feel like had a ton of injuries last year. I feel like now that they're a little more healthy, they could be a tougher road matchup to start the year. But I mean, I think it clearly comes down to that matchup and that stack. If he hits a touchdown between those two, Nels probably finds a way to win. I agree with you. I think Joe Burrow's the better quarterback though in this matchup, and I like CD against the Giants. If I was Murph, I'd be flipping Kirk for Watson just because of the questionable. Even if he plays, is he going to be that healthy? They'll probably throw the ball to Dobbs more. Um, Running backs, you mentioned McCaffrey at Pittsburgh's a tricky matchup potentially, but he is Christian McCaffrey, so that'll be close. Looking at running backs, this could come down to kickers, and he's got the best kicker in a juicy
Mhm.
matchup against Houston. So I was hoping you go the other way so we could have a disagreement, but I've got Murphs just eking this out barely. And I think both of these
Yeah,
teams could put up a good amount of points and be close to 100.
right. I mean, that's the thing about head to head is these both could. I think they both have good teams. It's just they're playing each other, and
Yep,
compared to the other four teams we've already looked at, I think these are the better, looking teams so far. Barkley could maybe Parsons stuff the middle, and Barkley may have some issues with Dallas, but I'd rather have Barkley and Jones than McCaffrey and Akers. But yeah,
agreed.
so we're
All
both
right,
going Murph. So we're three for
both going
three.
Murph. Next, we've got versus Scales. Taylor and Scales. All right, click through this. Murph and let's play Taylor a lot. So Taylor and Scales are 9-9 all time against each
Mm,
other. Taylor's won the last two to even up that series. So this is a big matchup. They faced each other 18 times. This will be number 19. Somebody's got to take the lead.
wow. And you know, Taylor already kind of proving me wrong. I didn't really like Montgomery, but he was used quite a bit yesterday, and 74 rushing yards and a touchdown is a pretty good start to the week. I didn't particularly love Taylor's team going into it. I thought Montgomery was maybe his weak spot, and he already got
Yeah.
him a decent amount of points. So um, Allen, and that he's going to be heavily invested in Monday night. He's got four
Yep.
players Monday night. From what I've heard, is that the Jets defense with Sauce Gardner in that front is supposed to be pretty tough. So I think both defenses are going to be tough. So I think the Monday night game could be pretty low scoring with week one offenses tended to be a little rusty, weather, and both those defenses, looking ready to play. Um, so I feel like Allen and Wilson are going to struggle. Maybe in just this game, but in the season, I think they're both going to be pretty studs. Debo, who knows, with Ayuk and Kittle and Purdy against the pit front, who knows if he's going to be able to hit Samuel. I haven't really done that much research on Devontae. I think he's healthy after coming off of an injury, and he's supposed to be RB1. but Samaje is going to be the third down back, so he's
Needing to
going to
get
lose.
oh, there you go.
Huh?
I lost you. My
Oh, okay,
internet cut out, but you're good now. Keep going.
good deal. Um, Javante and Tyler Higbee, because I mean that's what stinks about going into week one. Taylor's team lost, Kelsey, his best receiver and his number one pick or his first round pick. Higbee isn't a bad matchup if or isn't a bad tight end. He's no Travis Kelsey, but um, just Williams, Higbee, and then Dalvin Cook. I think he's going to split time with not only Brees Hall, but Michael Carter is going to get some playing time. I don't really love Taylor's side. It's got some tough matchups with that Monday night game and those two teams playing against each other. I'm a big Herbert fan this year. I think Kellen Moore hopefully opens up the offense, and Herbert being a very accurate quarterback and good deep ball thrower is going to have a really good game. So I really like that. Not the stack, but his top three right there of Herbert, Chase, and Olave is pretty dangerous. A lot of people are saying Miles Sanders is going to blow up. I think he's one of those under the radar
Yeah.
running backs that I'm not that high on him. Industry is kind of high on him. He's got a pretty good matchup against Atlanta, and then he doesn't even have a kicker, and he's kind of projected to be right there with Taylor. Um, what do you think? How do you think Baker's going to do with Mike Evans? Like, is Mike Evans going to completely drop off, or you think Baker's sufficient enough to get Mike 1,000 yards again?
It's just hard to know. Are we going to get
Yeah,
the Rams Baker Mayfield where
yeah,
he showed some? I mean, he looked good in the preseason. I don't know. I mean, Baker is a bit of a gunslinger, so I mean, he might put up those balls for him. We'll see.
yeah. I just feel like every Carolina game I watch because I'm rooting for
He was
Baker.
so
He
bad.
he would every ball would get batted down and like really hurt DJ Moore, and I was
Yeah,
like, I really hope that doesn't happen again. So I feel like Scales got Evans pretty late, so pretty good value there.
yeah,
Um, with no kicker, I'm going Scales. I think Taylor put up a good effort with Montgomery, but losing Kelsey and kind of the
that's
matchups,
the key.
I think
Yeah,
Scales. This is pretty easy. Scales will win this one.
yeah, I think Monday or Thursday night is what it came down to. Like you said, Taylor got the +4 for Montgomery, but I think Travis Kelsey being out of the lineup was the big multiplier. I mean, again, revisionist history, but I don't see how Kelsey probably doesn't end up with 100 yards in that game, given who they had out there at receiver
Right.
last night, and that's just a killer. And I think, like you said, he's got some good players, but I'd argue Wilson and Allen are just kind of in shit matchups against each other, which is going to be rough. And it looks like they're projecting weather there. Same with his kicker, which is always tenuous and whatnot. I just, like you said, the Herbert Chase Olave combination and even his running backs, I think, have some upside. He's playing it skewed with his kicker situation. Maybe if he waits that out through the 12 o'clock games, maybe Taylor can like play around and add a bunch of a late round kicker to try to mess with him. But I don't think it's going to matter. He'll pick up somebody and get 3, 5 points at
Yeah.
worst. So I've got Matt winning this one, not easily, but potentially fairly easy. Yeah,
Yeah. Tough break for Taylor.
nope, nothing you can do about it.
Nothing can do about that
But the
one.
good news is,
So
I mean, it sounds like Kelsey wanted to play, and it was like a coach's decision, so he should be good to go next week.
yeah, hopefully for Taylor.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. I think we got our matchups now.
Yeah, it's me and Jack. We
Ooh.
have to have played each other a F ton.
Yeah.
Hey, another rubber match. So Jack has beaten me the last 2 rounds to get to 500. So we are 10 and 10 against each other. I haven't beaten him since 2020 when I laid a smackdown on him 132-65. Don't forget that, Jack. Let me switch over to the matchup.
Uh, this one Fields get. I haven't really looked into Green Bay's defense, but that's a rivalry. I feel like they're gonna get up and play that one. It's a home game, and I
Yeah.
feel like Fields is. They're really wanting him to throw the ball more, and they've got the receivers. They brought in DJ Moore, and they're doing more of a flat and out concept instead of verticals is kind of what I've heard. So that may help with Fields. Ridley, I don't know what to think. I think he's a big name and he has a ton of speed, but I mean, he's never posted over 1,000 yards in the NFL. But and then Hopkins is out. I think has a chip on his shoulder. I kind of read something that all these teams didn't want him, so he signed with Tennessee that actually wanted him. And I mean, he may be Tannehill's favorite target. Tannehill's not the best thrower of the ball, but I mean, to be the clear 1A on Tennessee is definitely a good guy to have as your, I guess it's Jack's technically second receiver if you count Ridley as his first, but running backs is where he's got it. I mean, Chubb is probably going to be one of the best running backs in non PPR format. Mixon was inefficient last year going against that Cleveland front. Miles Garrett and company, not really a great matchup. Owen or Mark Andrews, I think he took a high draft pick on him. Hopefully he balls out against Houston. And then Rashard White is supposed to be the guy in Tampa Bay. I don't know how good Tampa Bay's offensive line is going to be, but um, I feel like that's a pretty good flex. You got the guy out of the Tampa Bay backfield. Um, Going to your team, I think I think he has the quarterback advantage. I just don't trust Russ, but this first game against the bad Las Vegas defense could totally prove me wrong, and they let Russ cook with Sean Payton, and he has a great game. We've kind of talked about Diggs. Not I guess Sauce Gardner could be on him probably. So that's going to be a tough matchup for Diggs to get a bunch of receptions. Did you just switch Pickens in there? Did you have
Yeah,
somebody else?
well, I've got Cup is out.
Oh yeah, I mean that's killer. Is your first round pick, just like we talked about with Taylor, losing him, nothing you can do. That sucks. But Pickens does have a high ceiling. I don't think his floor is that great. But Pickett could sling it, and Pickens is a great target. Lanky
I'm
wide
actually
receiver.
between him and Flowers,
Zay, yeah.
but I don't know if I how much I want to go. It's a juicy matchup potentially, but I don't want to. I don't know how bad I want to go a rookie receiver in their first game.
You got a really good bench. You got Flowers and Kincaid has been talked about as maybe not starting out the season as the number one tight end, but definitely going to take over and ball out at the end. And Brees Hall on your bench. I guess you're going Williams over Brees Hall. I haven't
For
looked at
now,
the
I've got a lot of options. Running back, it's gonna. I've got depth. This is my problem. I've got
yeah.
depth. I just don't have top end talent right now.
Is Williams is the guy until Kamara comes back. So
Yeah,
you're playing a number one guy. That's
yeah.
that's that's pretty good. But I still would take, even if Mixon's inefficient, I'd probably still take Jack's running backs. Waller versus Dallas. Waller's on a new team now, so could surprise us. He's had a couple bad seasons with Las Vegas after having an amazing season with them. Kenneth Walker, though, as your flex, is definitely a good running back to have. Although he is questionable, I guess something kind of came up, but hopefully he starts and you can get some big explosive plays for him. Overall, I'm probably going to go Jack. I don't like Jack's team as much as I have in the past. I love Nick Chubb, but besides that, I feel like there's a lot of question marks compared to kind of some of the other teams we've analyzed. So um, I think with you losing Cup, that's a tough break, and I'll probably go Jack, but I would think this is kind of the one of the medium scoring matchups of the week.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Jack has a decent floor. Like I don't know if his team's gonna blow up. Like you said, Fields in a divisional matchup that could be
Hmm.
rough. But I just look at like Chubb, Mixon, and Andrews are gonna get theirs, you would think. So I just feel like his baseline's gonna be hard to overcome. Unless Diggs blows up in a tough matchup or Russ cooks, I just don't really see it. And part of me is like I feel like I have my safer lineup in here, and I'm just debating. I'm
Hmm.
like, do I go for the riskier lineup, trying to really win, or do I play it safe and hope Jack's team falls apart? I could go either way, so we'll see how I play it. But right now, I'd have to lean Jack's way.
Yeah, it's a tough break. I mean, you're just praying. I mean, Kelsey's probably going to come back soon. Who knows with Cup? That sucks. Not a way to start your season in the FL League.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I wish we would have had a draft like Tuesday for it to really be impactful, but it's like, yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Nope.
All right, last one is you and
Row.
RO.
What are
Let's
the
look at.
numbers on this one?
You guys have had to play each other a lot, I would assume. Jerry and RO. Jerry, Jerry, you are 6-13 overall against RO. You did win the most recent matchup. Previous to
Dang.
that, you had lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row
Jeez.
to him. So you stopped the bleeding there. So maybe you can keep your streak going and turn it into 2 in a row.
God, that is so
Bad.
bad. I'm gonna text him that, and that's gonna make him. That's gonna make his weekend. Um, we'll go over RO's team first. I mean, I thought he had a baller team, and then made the trade that we can maybe break down after this real quick. But um, I mean, I would have loved to have Justin Jefferson, but he went with the Bichon and Devontae route. He's got Jalen. I don't usually the New England defense is really good, but I feel like New England is kind of fading, and they have that Judon guy, to help rush. But I feel like Hurts is so athletic that he'll just move out of the pocket and get his either scrambling or he'll find somebody on the run. So I think Hurts is going to get his. I think Allen is a great receiver. I think he's better in a PPR format. This one he could
Agreed.
have, 7 receptions for 35 yards, or I just don't know if Herbert's going to find him in the end zone or not. He's lucky that Jalen Ramsey's out, so that helps Allen. Then we have Devontae versus AJ Brown. I mean, RO has the stack of Hurts hitting Devontae. I mean, that's basically what it's going to come down to. I mean,
Yep.
that's
Who catches the touchdown?
yeah, who catches the touchdown? If it's Hurts and Devontae, that's gonna definitely kill me. If it's Hurts to Brown, that's just gonna negate Hurts, and then I can rely on the rest of my team. He's got Bijan. That was the big part of the trade he got. We'll see. I mean, it's not a great indicator that Gibbs was drafted 12th overall and barely kind of saw the field. He had one good run, but didn't get very many yards or touches. They're expecting a lot out of Bijan, and Bijan I feel like still has to share with Algier and Patterson, but um, I really like Stevenson. I think this is the only matchup that it's not very good with that front. I mean, I feel like the Eagles front was amazing last year, and then they added that Jalen Carter who fell to them in the draft. I mean that front could be really hard to run against. He's already had 2 players go. They went for right up around projected. I wouldn't play the Miami defense if I were him. I feel like the Chargers are going to score a ton, but their defense may let them down for like a win-loss record. But I mean, I really hope that offense goes off. But I mean, that's what they're projected to do. And I don't. You can maybe weigh in on Indy receivers, but Richardson's first game, I don't know if he's going to be able to get the ball out. Who knows how he's going to play? But I wouldn't really trust Pittman. But not even really going into my team. It's just going to come down to does Hurts and Devontae, if they get that stack, um, I mean that's going to be killer because it's going to go against AJ Brown from getting points, and then it's almost like tripling up there. Um, Rodgers against Buffalo's defense. I feel like that's going to be a really low scoring game. I don't really expect Rodgers to do a whole lot in his first game with a new team, but I feel like he's in a good situation season long. He's happy there. He's still, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Hopefully he can show out and, get some touchdowns. Maybe not this first game. Tyreek and AJ Brown and DJ Moore, I feel like is a really good wide receiver trio compared to, a lot of the teams that we looked at. You just never know with receivers. Sometimes you draft huge capital in them and they get 2 receptions one week, and the next week they go for 8, 150, and 2 touchdowns. And
Yep.
in a head-to-head, that's kind of if you go wide receiver heavy, that's kind of the risk you're taking. And so that's where my running backs aren't that great. They're not, any of the top guys. I feel like RO has 2 top guys before maybe even my, first guy. But Pierce has a tough matchup. We'll see what Madison does. I'm hoping Minnesota just gets down to the 1 or 2, hands it off to Madison, and can vulture a touchdown. Um, going this way, but I think since the trade, I think I think I like my team to win, and that means I'm gonna lose. So congrats, RO.
I could have gone either way, and I was leaning your way. And now that you went that, I feel like you have to have one different one. And
Okay.
honestly, like the
Yeah.
way I keep going on this is like it comes down to the Philly game. It's
Yeah.
whoever catches the touchdowns. Because it's like if Brown catches one and Smith doesn't, then you probably take it away. I don't know if Hurts will get the multiplier this week. I don't think he'll
Hmm.
get 300 yards nor 100 yards rushing. So I think it's going to come down to where the TDs go. I do think you dodged a bullet with the questionable on Kittle that scared him
Hmm.
enough to put in Gray. He should have played the
Right.
Belldozer, obviously.
Yeah.
Not that Gray did bad. He put up 3, but I think if he has Kittle on his team, I'm definitely leaning his way.
Right.
I'm with you. It's anecdotal, but like seeing how Gibbs' usage was kind of scares me about Bijan, and I have him in another league. I do think Bijan is slightly more talented and will be more involved in the passing game,
Hmm.
whereas Montgomery was your pass pro blocker. So I think it's
Hmm.
a little bit of a different situation. And running back is really where he has this advantage. He'll be
Hmm.
really upset if he sees Zeke coming in and getting those goal line carries, though,
Yeah.
and taking some of those points from Stevenson. But I've got this neck and neck. Pittman was the one piece, like you said, like Pittman and Allen, I think great PPR.
Hmm.
I just don't see Pittman getting as many targets this year with Richardson. I think going to be more of a home run player. He doesn't have
Hmm.
great accuracy, but I'm going to talk myself into going RO by a hair here over you just to be a contrarian.
Yeah. No, that works. I looked up the numbers, and Gray wasn't the worst play. He had the most routes run of any of the wide receivers,
Yes, say
even
he
on
was
KC.
targeted 5 times. I mean, not a terrible play. It's just the touchdown went to Bell.
Yeah, I saw that play, and Bell was wide open. I think like Gray drew 2 defenders, even though he's no Travis Kelsey, and yeah,
I
Belldozer got
had
the
fun after
touchdown.
that touchdown showing Cohen. He was like, that guy went to OU. He's like, yeah, he was the quarterback. So I showed him some old highlight videos of him just running people over. He's like, but he just ran the ball most of the time. It's like, yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what he did.
No, Belldozer was great, especially against what did he do? OU Texas, I think 1 year, like 4 touchdowns,
Yeah,
just
yeah, he had. I think he had like
bulldozing
3
people.
running and maybe 1 passing, or was it
Yeah,
all 4 running? I can't remember, but yeah.
it's one of the blowout years.
All right.
Uh,
Anything else you want to discuss?
what'd you think of that trade of
Oh,
Bijan and Smith for JJ? And then I thought it was just JJ the way they were texting, but he even got James Cook too. I think CT won that trade, but what
yeah,
do
they
I know?
got James Cook and Jefferson for Devonta Smith. I mean, if you just, I look at it and go, "Ah, man, there's some upside. It's tough. CT's really buying into James Cook, but he got the best player in the deal, I think, and
Hmm.
Justin Jefferson clearly. Bijan, if he lives up to the upside, I feel like could be as good as Jefferson, maybe at the best. But so then he's banking on that to hit and Smith to clearly be better than I don't know. I can see from either way. I would rather take CT's side of it.
Right. I don't think it's the worst thing
It's
in the
no.
world, but I could, I would rather have CT side, but I think RO definitely has more. I mean, barely maybe upside if Bijan really goes off and is like an RB3, like he's maybe projected to be. So I cannot wait. I mean, we get all day tomorrow, which will be fun Saturday, but man, I'm gonna be on high anxiety trying to beat RO where he doesn't add more to the to the pile of what I'd go 6-14. And in this league, it's always fun to start 1-0, but the next week is a whole new week. So
And it is week 1. Let me see if there's any like week 1 high scores or low scores, just out of curiosity in league history. Let's see. The lowest ever was RO and CT in 2017 at 43 and 50, the mod. See quickly who's put up the highest. Sorry, I just want to see this really quick now
yeah.
that we're looking at. Woo! So
Oh, RO.
RO and Scales both put up 172, 2019 for RO, 2013 for Scales, and CT put up 170 in week 1 in 2021. So
Jeez.
man, I don't know if we'll see any scores quite that high, but yeah, who knows?
170s in this league. That's insane.
I mean, West lost 172 to 110 in week 1. That's just like such a backbreak. I mean, and then you see Shmee lost 148 to 117 and 20. Like, gosh, it's just brutal. All righty. Well, good luck to everybody. And yeah, we'll see you next week, hopefully.
Great stuff, Bryson. Send
All
me
right.
the link and I'll get it set up. Thanks.
Will do. Bye.
See ya.